yesterday we talked about taking decimals and writing them as fractions and writing fractions as decimals. Today we're going to learn a little bit more about that. So I want you to pretend for a moment that this is a ruler, and this would be 0 centimeters, 1 centimeter, 2 centimeters, 3 centimeters. So I'm going to start off by drawing a line that would measure 2 centimeters. So I'm going to start here at 0 and I'm going to go all the way to 2. So I just drew a line that was 2 centimeters long. Now I'm going to extend this line by 6/10 centimeter. You notice it's not 6 centimeters, it's 6/10, and I've divided my little number line here into 10 pieces, so I know that it's going to need to come about right there. So I'm going to go 1/10, 2/10, 3/10, 4/10, 5/10, 6/10 about right there. Okay, we'll get rid of that little dot. All right, so here I started off, and I know that the blue line looks like it's a little bit over the pink line, but we started off with 2 centimeters right here. Actually, let's cut that out. So we started off with about 2 centimeters right here. And then we added to it, not 6 centimeters, 6/10 of a centimeter. The total distance of our line is 2 centimeters plus 6/10 of a centimeter. We can write that as 2 6/10 centimeter. Now, if you remember yesterday, we could also take 6/10 and we could write that as 0.6. So if I look at it that way, then I can come back to my equation and I could rewrite my equation in a different way. I could write my equation as 2 plus 0.6. When I add these together, it's not going to end up being 8. I want you to notice that. My answer here is not going to be 8 because I'm adding 6/10 and 2. That would be like saying if I had 2 plus 6/10 that the answer would equal 8. The answer doesn't equal 8. I'm not multiplying, and even if I were multiplying, the answer would end up being 12. So that's not what our answer is going to end up being. Instead, it's going to be 2 wholes, because that's what we have here. We had 2 wholes, and then we had our decimal point 6. Now, a lot of people will look at this and they will say 2.6. That's how you write it. You write it out. If I ask you, tell me how to write it, I'm going to write it 2, decimal point, and 6. But its name, its actual name, is 2 6/10. That would be like if you called this 2.6, it would be like you're saying, hey, MRS.SANCHEZ, what are you doing? Be like, why did you just spell out my name? Mrs. Sanchez, that's my name. Okay, so this is said 2 6/10, which is the same as how we say it up here. All right, coming back once again to our number line. So I want you to look at just this first chunk right here. How many tenths are in one whole? Well, if I look at it, I can see that there are going to be 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There are going to be 10 tenths in one whole. Well, if that's the case, how many tenths would there be in 2 wholes? Well, I know that if I double my wholes, I would just need to double the number of tenths I have. I would end up with 20 tenths. Now let's say that I'm going to my 2 6/10 again, so I'm coming to right here. This is where our 2 6/10 was. If I know that I have 20 tenths in 2, I'm going to look at 2 6/10. How many tenths would there be in 2 6/10? Well, I know there's 20 as of right here, so 21, 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. There are going to be 26 tenths in 2 6/10. So I could write it out like 20 tenths plus 6 tenths equals 26 tenths, and we're still pretending these are centimeters. All right, okay. If you look here in C, you can see we have 6 squares on our sheet right here. Each square represents one hole. So total, I have 6 holes on my paper. Each rectangle has been partitioned equally. Partitioned is just a word that means cut into equal pieces or split up. So I'm going to look and see how many tenths I have in all, because I know that there are 10 tenths in each one. So I have 10 tenths here, 20 tenths here, 30 tenths here, 40 tenths, 50 tenths. Bet you can't guess what this one's going to be. It is 60 tenths. Now, we're going to go back to our number of 2 and 6 tenths. Okay. Now 2 and 6 tenths, we can separate that out into, let's do our equal sign, 2 plus 6 tenths. I'm going to start shading that in. All right, so I'm going to shade in 2 ones. It's my cool little brush I have here. Pretend that's all the way shaded in. Pretend this one's all the way shaded in as well. All right, I have 2 holes shaded in, or 20 tenths. But I still need to shade in 6 tenths more in order to complete 2 and 6 tenths. So I'm going to shade in, let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. So I'm going to shade in these right here. And once again, it's okay that it's not perfect. Shows that I have my 6 tenths shaded in right there. So if I look at this, this is the same as having 1 hole plus 1 hole plus 6 tenths of 1 hole, which is the same as 2 and 6 tenths. Remember, we can also use decimals to write the 6 tenths right here, remember, because 6 tenths is equivalent to 6 tenths, or 0.6. So 2 plus 6 tenths is equivalent to 2.6.